Well, here's a bit of a riddle for everybody. Which should you buy? Should you buy a share of of Apple stock, about $700, or should you buy a new iPhone and an iPad, about the same price? Quentin Fottrell is going to break it down for us, and here he is on the set in that amazing tie and jacket. I love it. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
There's Apple stock at $701, so you can buy that $701. Okay, or you could take your $700 and buy...
Right, because, you know, if you bought a MacBook in 2004, it would have cost you about $2,000. Do you know how much that $2,000 would be worth today?
I have no idea.
Probably around $860,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're in 2012 now, we're not in 2004. And I wrote this story in February, similar story in February, when the stock hit $500, and asked the same question because it was the same price as an iPad. And I thought, well, you know, want to buy Apple, do you go to the store or do you buy the stock? But since then, the stock has risen the entire price of an iPhone. So it's risen $200 since there. It's now $700. You can actually get an iPad and an iPhone for the price of one share of Apple.
So what happened, based on your recommendation last time, it was $500. What would the iPad be worth now?
Well, even at, what would the iPad be worth now?
Yeah, that iPad you bought for $500, what would it be worth?
It's gone down in value.
Oh! Okay,
right.
So it would have been a better idea to buy the stock.
It's gone down about $100, $150. So it would have been better.
So isn't that going to happen? Isn't that what's going to happen this time?
Or is it $700? Well, as it turns out, yes, people say, you know, there are several brokerages that have already upped their targets to one brokerage $840 a share. So they still say that there's still room for it to go. I mean, who knows? It could go to $1,000 a share. You just don't know. But as it happens, it was hard to find people who preferred the stuff over, as a theoretical question, over the stock. But as we know,
but you can't make calls on the stock, can you? I mean, you can't like ring up anybody if you don't. If you have the choice, it's binary.
Yes,
you can't have
you
both.
You can check MarketWatch on your app, or you can check the Wall Street Journal on your iPhone through your.
Okay, that's fair enough. But what I mean, if it's an absolute choice and you cannot have both, then that makes it rather tricky, doesn't it?
It does, and people really prefer the quality of life that the iPad and the iPhone bring into their life, and they're prepared to not. Rather play with their gadgets than dabble on the stock market. Very few, though, according to my piece.
What do you expect the stock to do, and what are people telling you based on iPad Mini or the Mini, the smaller tablet coming along?
Right. So, I mean, there's a school of thought that says, well, you've got the iPad Mini, they've got a lot of billions of dollars in cash. That
100 billion.
100 billion. Approximately. And that, you know, under Tim Cook, the company has been faring very well. And this, as you know, the iPhone 5 has record sales according to Apple. So they still expect the stock to rise. But there are other people who say that these subsidized iPhones can't last forever. They're really costing the carriers a lot of money, and that's not going to go on indefinitely. And that is a huge factor in propping up the demand for iPhones, is this $199 deals you get, when actually if you had to buy one without a contract, it's cost you like $600.
Wow. There you go. Well, because it's $600, but nobody has quite the clothing you do. Thank you very much, Quentin Fottrell. There you can read more on that on smartmoney.com.